reviewing day one with my very good friend Gary Kirsten, who looks tired, obviously, understandably tired, all day, tough auction, multiple data crunching, examinations going on. But Gary, at the end of day one, how happy, how pleased, how many of your top picks did you get?
Yeah, I think every team is well researched and put a lot of detail into the recruitment process. So at the end of the day, you're just trying to build a team whatever way you can. I mean, there was a lot of players that we bidded for that we couldn't get, and that's what the auction's all about. Sometimes there are two teams who want to go for one player, and you'll end up going for at quite a high number. But you've got to be really careful of your cap and what you can spend. So it's all about just juggling around and making sure that you get the requirements that you need for your team.
I know it's been 10 minutes since the auction got over, and I'm putting it on a record for our viewers. 10 minutes since the auction got over. This is Gary's first interview, so it takes time to seep in. But if I ask you, Gary, how happy are you with your buys? How is it shaping up? How will you approach tomorrow? In your mind, how pleased are you with day one?
Yeah, as I said, I think we've moved into some good shape in terms of how we're trying to build the team out. So I think we covered some bases. There's still work to be done, but I certainly think that what we kind of aimed at in terms of the kind of individual that we wanted in certain positions, we're happy with what we got.
Okay. What was interesting for me was you were actually also going for these Indian picks, be it a Mohammad Shami, proven customer. So there's a good mix of experience and youth. If I look at the list of your team, Gary, it's a good mix of experience and youth at the moment, a young captain and some really experienced names there. So there is a good balance there from what I see.
Yeah, I think that would certainly have been one of our priorities, is to make sure we had experienced players around the group. You know what IPL is like. It's a very pressurized environment, so you don't want two young players trying to win a game for the franchise together. Generally, if they're around experienced players, it makes a big difference. But I think as well, you just like any other team, you're looking for the kind of individuals within the Indian context, because the Indian players are so important that you feel that you are well covered with your Indian players. I think that there's a big list of international players. You've got internationals that are down in the 300-400s on the list that are playing for their country. So there's no shortage of international players, but I think your top Indian players are a priority.
Lockie Ferguson, Mohammad Shami, excellent pairing, 150, great skill with the swing as well. Good balance there. Obviously, Rashid Khan gives you that spin option as well. You've just taken R. Sai Kishore, so you've got a left arm there. So clearly, the bowling now looks to me to have all the bases covered, Gary.
Yeah, I mean, we certainly want to get an off spinner of sorts. We're very excited by Noor Ahmed, who we think is a youngster who's done really well, and he's left armour, which is also important. So I think we're moving in the right direction with our bowling attack, but there's still a bit of work to be done. We probably need a left armour in there at some point. So we're gonna see how we can set that up for tomorrow. And then we've got a couple of spots from a batting perspective to fill as well, Indian and international players. So
I was about to say that the batting for me, I mean, I didn't mention Hardik Pandya because I'm expecting in that interview to me, Hardik promised me that he will bowl, and that's what he's gearing up for. So I didn't mention Hardik bowling. So that gives you that extra bit of balance. All of India wants Hardik to bowl. The batting so far looks to me a little underdone. You've got Jason Roy at the top. You've got decent people, but it still sort of lacks maybe that one or two more picks that you need.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment we've got Gill, Roy, Pandya, Tewatia as potentially a top six. But you're right. I mean, we're gonna go tomorrow in search of some quality batters, and I think that'll round off the team.
Yeah, and the last couple of questions, because I know you've got to go. One, say a Rahul Tewatia going for a 9 crore kind of bid. while some of the international players or even some of the Indian players have gone for lesser money, 6 crores. Is it about skill set? Is it about the auction dynamic that he came at a particular point in time? How is it that certain players leave us baffled in terms of the amount of purse that franchises have spent?
Yeah, it's how the auction pans out, So I think some players get really lucky, to be honest with you, because they do go for a bigger price. I mean, we were in a bidding war with CSK. Both franchises needed a left-hander in their setup, so Tawatia, in the opinion of the two franchises, was at that point the best option. So we had kind of made up some money through the rest of the bidding, so we were prepared to extend ourselves with Tawatia. So I think that can often happen, So I think you look at every franchise, they would have made a really big spend somewhere because they back a player, but there's another franchise that likes them too, and they're just going to have to extend themselves. And I think that is the unpredictability of the auction.
Absolutely. I spoke to Krunal Pandya after Lucknow picked him, and I said, "Oh, you know what? Ahmedabad went for you at the very last instant." And he said, Boria, honestly, I didn't want to play for my brother's team. I actually want to play for a different team. That was Krunal's reaction to me on the board. Anyway, that's a different matter. But if there was one player Gary Kirsten wanted missed, happens in an auction, someone you're like, "Oh, I should have gone for a little bit more." Anybody like that?
Listen, we tried hard for a couple of players up front. Someone like Washington Sundar, who we really like, and I think anyone that offers you something with the bat and the ball makes a big difference. So he comes to mind. But to be honest with you, my mind is so frazzled at the moment. I can't think of the guys, but there were definitely a number of players that that we missed, and it just happens to be that way. We'd kind of set our price on what we felt that we were prepared to pay for them. And once it went past, you just have to accept it. And that's why guys that are lower down, sometimes it happens that you just want to go for that play because you need to. You've got to build your team.
Correct.
Yeah.
It happens in an auction, Gary. I mean, you will never, ever be a fully satisfied man at the end of an auction like this. But that's the whole spectacle of an auction. I mean, we've seen some, you and I have interacted about auctions before. I leave it at that, and I hope to catch up with you next week for a bigger review and a better review when you are rested and you can think through better. But for the moment, wish you all the very best, my friend Gary Kirsten, and all the best for tomorrow. Go well.
Thanks, Boria. Cheers, man.